everybody. My name is John Moore, and I want to thank you all for taking a look at my art exhibition titled On the Backs of Us. It took a lot of work. I'm pretty sure you guys can see that. But I want to thank a bunch of people who helped out tremendously with making the piece what it is. I first off want to thank the group down in Special Collections here in the library for making everything look so nice and making everything go really, really smooth. I also want to thank my professor, Colette Robbins, in the art department for being a big inspiration there and giving me a bunch of critical feedback. And I also want to take time to thank the student aides of the periodicals and the serials department for posing and being in a number of the pieces, giving me photo references and things of that nature. The concept of the piece itself is, as I said, is titled On the Backs of Us, and it's looking right behind people's backs at key moments throughout history. As a child growing up in New York City, we used to look at black history usually a certain number of times. We'd look at it basically during slavery times. We also would look at it during the civil rights movement and modern day times. And so then we'd also go back occasionally and look at ancient history, in which case we'd end up finding out about ancient Egypt. So what I did was I took those moments and I just enhanced them. And I looked at, and the first piece that I did there is from the back, or right behind Pharaoh and his queen, looking out over ancient Egypt and seeing the Sphinx and the actual pyramids that are there. Next piece would be an African king as he's sitting on his throne, looking out over the conquered lands and people that he's sold off allegedly into slavery. The next pieces are basically runaway slaves, and they've been whipped and they're trying to escape to safety, and you're right behind their back as they're foraging through the forest looking for a safe spot to go. Moving on, we go to Rosa Parks sitting on the bus, and you're right behind someone that's in the back of the bus looking at what's going on and people yelling and shouting. We don't actually have pictures of any of these moments. We have her getting arrested, but actually what she went through being on the bus and being there, just my take on that. Moving forward, we move forward to the birthplace of hip-hop with DJ Kool Herc, who was in the Bronx, and over there in 1520 Sedgwick Ave during the initial hip-hop party. It wasn't called that back then, but it was just a park jam. This is what he did, combining two turntables and making something great. Moving forward, we have the president and President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle, just at a celebration of one of their balls where they're just being announced president. And finally, moving forward to a kid in a classroom where it's a mixed bunch of classmates that are there and a teacher that's teaching them about history. History is very important, especially being accurate and understanding things. I didn't realize how much racism had played a part in history, but as I study these things, hopefully these pieces will bring some light to that. And one last thing about it I wanted to share is that everyone in the picture, if you look at them, everyone is a silhouette, and that reflects basically very often how we see each other. Sometimes we'll look at people and we only see the color that they are, as opposed to seeing an individual. And that's what I did for the piece, but hopefully this can cause a dialogue with that and we can grow and change and do some things. Once again, I want to thank you for taking time to look at it. My name is John Moore, and the exhibition, the piece there is titled On the Backs of Us. Thank you.